It's in our choice. So your friends, the Holy Prophet is saying, be very careful. Don't give your friendship to other than Ahlul Iman. And again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about how giving up, it doesn't mean we treat people who are not people of Iman any different. No, we treat them with courtesy, with respect, with dignity, as Amir al-Mu'mineen says. Creation is of two types. Either your brother in faith or you're equal in humanity. But with regards to friendship, it's very important. Friendship means what? I am willing to live and I am willing to die for you. Habib ibn Mudahir, the childhood friend of who? Abu Abdullah Imam al-Hussein. The Imam never wrote to anybody for help. Just one. Habib. Childhood friend. A friend means what? Giving your friendship to somebody, taking that friendship from somebody means what? I am willing to live and die by your principles. What you stand for is what I stand for. What you live for is what I live for. That's what friendship means. Association is something else. Work colleagues are something else. School peers are something else. Friendship is sacred in Islam. You don't give it to anybody except that you are willing to live and die for their principles. Hence the reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Zukhruf, chapter 43, verse 67 states, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Al-akhillau yawma'idhin ba'dhuhum li ba'dhin aduwwun illa al-muttaqeen. Friends on that day, which day? Yawmul Qiyamah. Friends on that day will be enemies one to another, illa, except one group of people. The God conscious. Illa muttaqeen. Except those who are God conscious in this world, they will not be enemies of their friends that were in this world. So taqwa, God consciousness is the basis of what? Friendship. That's why we call ourselves followers of who? Imam al-Muttaqeen, Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib. So we can see, we can actually appreciate why our friendship, which is sacred, should only be given. Alhamdulillah, all of you here are Muttaqi, are Mu'mineen, are lovers and followers of Amir al-Mu'mineen. So you have to have love and affection between yourselves. You have to have honesty and integrity and care for one another. Just as we're moving with regards to this, how important it is, how much of a right a believing brother has upon you. ما دخل في قلوبكم إيمانا حتى أن تحب لأخيك ما تحب لنفسك. From the Holy Prophet and the Imam. All of them have repeated in one form or another this statement. Iman, faith has not entered your heart up until you love for your believing brother or sister what you love for yourself. Remember I said yesterday, we love to look at our branches. Look how beautiful my namaz, my salah, my sawm is. That's not the purpose. The purpose is what? Akhlaq. How good and nice and behavior is your behavior to your believing brother. If there's issues there, understand there's issues here. So, environment, huge factor, plays a huge role. Okay, so inshallah we can see how Islam also says your environment affects and contributes to why you have become the way you have. Okay, now let's go to nature, seed and soil. With regards to seed and soil, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you read this all the time, very simple to remember, chapter 36, verse 36, Surah Yasin, we recite it. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanalladhi khalaqa al-azwaja kullaha mimma tunbitu al-ardu wa min anfusihim wa mimma la ya'lamun. Glorified be Allah, who created in pairs all things that the earth produces, seed and soil, and as well as from your own human self, sperm and egg, and also from things of which they have no knowledge. What does that mean? We know of seed and soil, we know of ourselves, where we came from, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that I've created things in pairs that you will never know about. You know, the Quran is not for today or yesterday, it's for ever. So there will be creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala which has been created in pairs that we will have never recognized. مِمَّا لَا يَعْلَمُونَ, of which they have no knowledge. But everything is in two. What is one? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything is a pair. Everything else is even. He is, what's the opposite of even? Odd. But we don't mean odd as in weird, odd as in unique. Odd as in beyond comprehension. Odd as in amazing. Odd as in, Ya Allah, what are we supposed to gain with regards to your awareness? And then anything that we do have has come from your word, Holy Quran, delivered to us by none other than Muhammad, Ali Muhammad. Surah Najm states, وَأَنَّهُ خَلَقَ الزَّوْجَيْنِ الذَّكَرِ وَالْأُنْثَى ذُكَرَ وَالْأُنْثَى. And He did create in pairs, male and female. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, I created you in male and female. Furthermore, the verse thereafter, مِن نُطْفَةٍ إِذَا تُمْنَى, from a seed which is lodged in its place. What is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying to us? I created you from pairs, and each pair was a male, one half was male, the other one was female, from a seed which was lodged in its place, sperm and womb. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, look, you were created by contributions equally. 50% of your chromosomes and your genetic material came from your father. 50% came from where? Your mother. So you are in essence 1400 years ago, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying and talking to you about your biological composition, contributions of your genetic material coming from two different places. Furthermore, the emphasis is given, Surah Nisa chapter number 4. I won't read the whole verse, it's very long, but you will get the meaning. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. حرمت عليكم أمهاتكم وبناتكم وأخواتكم وأماتكم وخالاتكم وبنات الأخ وبنات الأخت. It's a long verse, but the basic meaning is prohibited to you in marriage are who? Your mothers, your daughters, your sisters, your father's sisters, your mother's sisters, your brother's daughters, your sister's daughters, ila akhirihi, till the end. What is this saying? 1400 years ago, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, look, there is a restriction when it comes to this seed and soil about who it can be, where this genetic material has to come from. And there is a limit. Inside of this limit, it's not allowed. In other words, what? Incestuous relationships are prohibited in Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the da'ira, the hudud. Outside of this, it's okay. Why? If you marry incestually, if you inbreed, what are you going to do? Weaken your offspring, because the genetic factors with inbreeding causes what? Mutations, defects, and you will find weakness of produce, fruit, flowers and leaves. The wider the genetic composition, the stronger we find the produce. Hence this is one of the reasons why we are taught by the Ahlul Bayt to outbreed, not inbreed. And we find that, inshallah, all of you will agree with this, children from the furthest backgrounds, the produce that they produce. When we talk about mixed children, mixed breed children, are they not the most beautiful of children? Why? Because genetics has ordained that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to also do that. And we have many examples. The Arabs never used to breed outside of anybody but their own until they saw who? The likes of Imam as-Sajjad alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil. Not just that, all you have to do is look at the mothers of our Imams and you will see from where and where and where they came from. The diversity into the genetic pool that was brought in. Anybody who promotes inbreeding is producing what? Weakness of produce. Okay, so we can clearly see, very clearly, that there are, without a doubt, contributions and considerations of genetic material. And these affect not only the genetic factors, the psychological factors, the physical factors, etc., etc., etc. Now, I ask you a question. If one wants to produce the best type of fruit, he's got the best seed, what should he be looking for? The best type of soil. Because he knows that he has to look for the soil which is the most fertile to produce the best type of produce. And this is where we hear the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam referring to us and saying, marry women who are loving and fertile. Furthermore, the Holy Prophet says, with regards to us men, and there's understanding in this, look, it's us men that go to propose. At least we should. That does not mean the woman doesn't have the right to choose. Obviously, it's her right, ultimately. But we should honor that by not making them come to ask us. There's dignity within that. As Amir al-Mu'minin came for? There's honor. Ultimately, the decision goes to who? The woman. Furthermore, the Holy Prophet warned his companions. He said, beware of green luscious grass that grows on manure. So, Ya Rasulullah, what is this green luscious grass that grows on manure? He said, it is a beautiful woman who comes from filthy origins, filthy ancestry. Don't just look at the blade of grass, look at the background. Just so that we are clearly understanding, nobility is what? Doesn't mean that you just come from a family which is Muslim by name. No. Nobility comes from good behavior. Your actions again. We have a very clear narration that talks about the nobility of a lineage can be understood from good akhlaq. Husnul akhlaq burhanun li karamil a'raq. Good behavior is an example, an indication of noble lineage. You know, they say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Well, we're still on the theme of seed and soil and trees and fruits, my dear brothers, inshallah. There's so many lessons. What does that mean? That the child sources themselves from where? Their ancestry. And genes and traits and characteristics are what? Inherited. Our akhlaq also comes from the akhlaq of our parents. Genetically. It's inherited. This word, inheritance, inheritor, very beautiful word. In fact, we have a complete ziyarah that refers to this word. We actually eulogize We have a ziyarah called Ziyarat al-Warith. What does Warith mean? Inheritor. Ziyarat al-Warith. Who is and what is Ziyarat al-Warith? Ziyarat al-Warith is just line by line by line of what? O Abu Abdullah Imam al-Hussein. O Abu Abdullah Imam al-Hussein, you are the greatest of inheritors of seed and soil, nature and nurture. Ziyarat al-Warith is nothing more. We read it every Thursday, but do we reflect? Do we understand what's been said? Let's just recite a few words so that we understand. We say, and remember, Ziyarat al-Warith comes from where? Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam. It's not just from nowhere. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farajah. Assalamu alayka ya waritha Adam as-sifwatillah. Peace be upon you, O inheritor of Adam, the chosen one of Allah. Assalamu alayka ya waritha Nuhin nabiyallah. Peace be upon you, who? Abu Abdullah Imam al-Hussein, O inheritor of Nuh, the Prophet of Allah. Assalamu alayka ya waritha Ibrahim Khalilallah. Peace be upon you, inheritor of Ibrahim, the friend of Allah. Peace be upon you, O inheritor of Musa, the one who talked to Allah. Peace be upon you, O inheritor of Isa, the spirit of Allah. Peace be upon you, O inheritor of Muhammad, the beloved friend of Allah. Peace be upon you, O inheritor of Ali, the commander of the faithful and the friend of Allah. Peace be upon you. And now it's not just male. Peace be upon you, O the son of Fatima al-Zahra. Peace be upon you, O son of Khadija al-Kubra, Fatima the luminous one. All of these traits, chosen one, the one who was a friend, a beloved of Allah. All of these traits are what? All we are saying is, O Abu Abdullah, look how great you are. Why do we regard you so highly? Because all the beautiful traits, characteristics and personalities that were found from Adam all the way until Khatim are inherited by you. And if there's any doubt about what we are talking about, we give testimony. Ziyarat al-Warith is nothing but testimony. We say, Ashhadu annaka kunta nuran fil aslab al-shamiha wal arham al-mutahhara. I bear witness that verily you were a light in the sublimest loins, and you came from purified wombs, seed and soil. We are giving testimony that you came through that means. لَمْ تُنَجِّسْكَ الْجَاهِلِيَّةُ بِأَنْجَاسِهَا. The impurities of ignorance did not even touch you. وَلَمْ تُلْبِسْكَ مِنْ مُدْلَهِمَاتِ ثِيَابِهَا. Nor could its soiled or dirty bearings even smear you. My dear brothers and sisters, the reason why we have the tragedy of Karbala, the reason why we mourn, is because on the day of Ashura, the tragedy was that the very best of creation, the very best of inheritors, the best who came from the best of seed and soil, was being beaten by stone, was beaten by spear, was beaten by stick, by sword. In fact, anything that came to their hand, they beat Abu Abdullah Imam al-Hussein. This very individual who had inherited within his body the very best of traits and characteristics was on the plains of Karbala surrounded by ferocious, vicious beings worse than animals. Not just that, then they behead the blessed body. Not just that, they then trample with horses heavy of foot to crush the pieces of this body. My dear brothers and sisters, when Imam al-Sajjad alayhi salam, we are in the days of Arba'een, when he, on the 13th, for 3 days, the body of Abu Abdullah Imam al-Hussein lay bare naked, because they stripped everything off the body of the best of inheritors, from his slippers to the layers of the clothing to his turban to even the rings on his finger. And when one ring didn't come off, one la'een actually stripped and broke the finger, cut the finger of Abu Abdullah Imam al-Hussein for the greed of a ring. Not just there. 3 days, the body of Abu Abdullah Imam al-Hussein lay bare on the tracks on the plains of Karbala. On the 13th of Moharram, Imam al-Sajjad, with the amr of Allah, leaves the prison of Kufa without them knowing, arrives into the plains of Karbala. He finds Bani Asad, the men of Bani Asad, trying to bury the bodies. When Imam al-Sajjad comes, they ask him, who are you? They said, I am the inheritor of the one that they butchered here. They say, Imam al-Sajjad, we are wanting to bury the bodies, but we don't know which body belongs to who, because the heads have been removed of every single body that lies here. Imam al-Sajjad says, I will tell you whose body is who, and we will bury them. Imam al-Sajjad goes on to bury the bodies. They ask, whose body is this? Imam al-Sajjad says, this is the body of Habib ibn Mudahir. They say, whose body is this? They said, this is the body of Aliyun al-Akbar. They said, whose small body is this? They said, this is the body of Aliyun al-Asghar. They said, oh Imam al-Sajjad, that's one body that is at the riverbank, far away from everybody else. Imam al-Sajjad says, this is the body of my uncle Al-Abbas. On Arba'een, when Imam al-Sajjad arrives, they arrive with all the heads to reunite the heads that were decapitated and put them to rest with the bodies. When Imam al-Sajjad came with who? With the family composing of women and children. Dear brothers and sisters, do you know how old Imam al-Sajjad was when the tragedy of Karbala took place? They were only 22 years of age. You know, we have this image, they may have been an old man. No, this was a young man, only 22 years of age, and had nobody elder to speak of their trials and tribulations in their heart. But they meet an old companion of Rasulullah when they arrive in Karbala, Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari. And you know, when a young person finally meets an elderly, that they can actually pour their heart out to. This is when Imam al-Sajjad grabs the hand of Jabir ibn Abdullah Ansari and says, Ya Jabir, ha huna qutilat rijaluna. Oh Jabir, this is where they killed our men. Ha huna dhubihat atfaluna. This is where they slaughtered our children. Ha huna subihat nisana. This is where they made the women captives. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-aliyyil azim. Wa saya'lamu alladhina dhalamu ayya munqalabin yanqalibun. Wal aqibatu lil muttaqin. Brothers and sisters, let us raise our hands in these precious moments that you have tears within your eyes. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Allah bihaqqi Abu Abdullah, Ya Allah bihaqqi Imam al-Sajjad, Ya Allah bihaqqi Sayyida Zainab salamullah alayha. Ya Allah, we ask you to allow us to be of those who recognize these personalities, and Ya Allah, give